Well, welcome back to another episode of Fox Sports Lab NRL. We are here to preview round 23. Josh Morris is alongside me. Josh, how's your week been? Playing a bit of golf?
Uh, One game this week, maybe another in the works. But we've got some footy to talk about first.
We certainly do. Let's kick it all off because tonight's game, Roosters versus Eagles. This week, Jake Chaboyevich actually came out to the media and said this almost feels like a semi-finals clash, given what this means for their finals hopes, particularly for Manly.
Well, it means a lot for both sides, doesn't it? I mean, the Roosters, they have to win to even try and make the eight. A loss here spells the end of their season, and it would be probably one of their most disappointing seasons to date. Manly, they had a close fought win against the Dragons last week, but they're still in the picture, sitting, near that bottom eight. So this game has a lot at stake, and they haven't beaten the Roosters twice in the season since 2017. So if they can do that, that'll be a good feather in their cap and will give them some confidence. Roosters lose, season over, and then I think there'll be a lot of reviews coming out about their season, no doubt.
So in this one, are you leaning towards more of a Roosters victory, just on the line?
Yeah, I'm giving them one more chance, Eloise. I'm giving them one more chance. This really is their last roll of the dice. If they don't win, their season's over. So I'll stick with them this week. I'll stick with the brother. I know he's part of the coaching staff there, so I've got to stick with the brother this week.
Yeah, absolutely showing your family loyalty there, Josh. Okay, Friday night we head to the Titans hosting the Warriors, and the Titans are another side that are a slim chance of making the finals as well. So a win would do a lot for them. But the Warriors, they are fresh off a bye. They've got a full strength team. Sean Johnson's red hot. It's looking pretty good for them as well.
Yeah, it is, and to get a rest at this time of the year is absolutely massive. I just hope they haven't wasted it. You see sides come back off a bye and they start games really slowly. I think we saw last week that the Titans are capable of upsetting teams above them. I think the Cowboys may have took them a bit lightly last week and they paid the price for it. So it will be interesting to see what type of Warriors team turns up. And if they turn up with the right attitude, well, then they should win this clash.
Yeah, absolutely. You're tipping the Warriors in that one. And then the later game is probably one of the games of the round. Panthers taking on the Storm. Nelson Asofa-Solomona returns for the Storm. We know that they're coming off a big win against the Eels, but this is also another top four clash, which has got so many talking points in it. What do you like
Yeah, this
about
one
this
could
one?
be a preview of round one of the finals week. The Storm
Mm.
did have a really good win, and then the Panthers they flexed their muscle against the Sharkies last week. It's a really good clash because the spines are playing so well for both teams. I mean, it was the usual suspects for Melbourne last week. They got the job done with Hughes and Munster, Grant all starring, and then Cleary has been on fire. Dylan Edwards, we know how good a player he is at the back. But I like Penrith in this one. I think this will be a good game for the Storm to see where they're at as well. But also, if they are going to be playing them first round, they can do a little bit of homework and figure out ways to beat them, which I'm sure Craig Bellamy will be doing this weekend.
Yeah, certainly a great time to be doing some homework on some of those top sides. Moving on to Saturday's first game, Cowboys hosting the Broncos in what is a Queensland derby. I mean, rather the Cowboys, they're going to be without Valentine Holmes, which is a huge blow for them. It's really important for them as well to get some wins on the board, and I suppose an opportunity for them to do some homework against their local
Yeah, it is. This
rivals.
one's going to be a cracking clash. I'm really excited for this one. The Cowboys, will they roll the dice with Val? And obviously didn't get the result they wanted. He's a massive loss. He's been one of their best players all year. But I like the Broncos in this one. We saw the way that they stuck it to the Roosters last week. It was a very dominant performance. I like the way that the Brisbane forward pack is just rolling teams down the middle of the park with the likes of Hassan and Flegler and Carrigan. But then Adam Reynolds, we're talking about how good Sean Johnson is playing. Adam Reynolds is playing just as well for the Broncos. And then you've got the exciting outside backs. So I like Brisbane in this one, but these local derbies, they can toss up anything. And we've seen some absolute classics over the past 4 or 5 years. It could go to Golden Point. Who knows?
Well, you want to make sure the Cowboys have got their defense on point because the Broncos ran up 112 points over the last 3 games. So certainly so much to play for in that one. The later game, Dolphins hosting the Knights. You spoke about Ponga earlier in the week, just how incredible his form is. Another player that's up there and being spoken about at the moment. What do you like about this one, and how does this one
Yeah,
play out?
I like the Knights in this one. I think they've just got all the momentum behind them. They're playing a great style of football. They all seem to be happy. And when you're happy and playing good football, well, then the wins come off the back of that. So, yeah, I like the Knights in this. I think the Dolphins, they were a bit disappointing last week against the Doggies. They had their chances, they just weren't able to take them. And I think if they turn over as much ball as what they did last week, well, then the likes of Ponga will make them pay. So I like the Knights in this one, and they're on track to try and get into the 8 with a win here.
Yeah, huge, I suppose, back end performances from the Knights that have put them up in contention. Later, we've got the Rabbitohs taking on the Sharks. We know the pressure that is on the Sharks at the moment, particular on their halfback, Nico Hines. He's copped a little bit of criticism later. Is this the game he turns it around and proves the player that he can be, Josh?
Yeah, I think this is a good game for the Sharkies. Obviously, they're coming off the back of that big loss against Penrith, but most teams that come off a loss against Penrith go on to win the next week. So it could be a good omen for them. For South, well, they were good against the Tigers. I probably would have liked to have seen a bit more attack from them, a few more points, but Latrell got back and got through his first game. So he'll only get better heading into the finals. I just think South, they'll be too classy in this one. And with the amount of injuries that the Sharks have got over the last 2 to 3 weeks, I just think they're down on troops and the quality there to get the job done against this bunny side.
Yeah, absolutely. What about in the next game? Did the Eels show too much class against the Dragons?
Yeah, I think so. I think, uh, yeah, obviously they're hurting after last week's game, but I just see that they've got a lot more power in their forwards, and then obviously their spine with Moses and Gutherson there. I think they have a good record against the Dragons as well. They've won 10 out of the last 13 against the Dragons. So um, if they want to be playing finals football, they've got to win this game. It's plain and simple. They went from 7th to 11th in the last 2 weeks. So that's how close this competition is. They know that. They know that this is a do or die clash as well, and they'll be ready for a Dragon side that will try and upset them.
Yeah, just like the Eels, the Raiders also too need to get some wins on the board. They've suffered 2 back-to-back losses, rather. They come up against the Tigers. Are we expecting one-way traffic here, or the Tigers put it to them?
Oh, look, I think the Tigers will put it to them. I don't think this is going to be an easy game for the Raiders. They've been pretty disappointing the last 2 weeks, to say the least. But as you said, if they want to play finals football, they've got to win this game. They can't take the West Tigers lightly. They've got some good young kids coming through the ranks there, and you sprinkle that with players like Bateman and Clemmer in the forward pack, Papali in the forward pack. They can still get a job done if they don't respect this side. But yeah, if Canberra want to play finals football, they need to get the job done here against the Tigers.
Yeah, absolutely. Such an exciting time of the season. Every team desperate to play. So that adds so much more to each of these games. Josh Morris, thanks so much for your time. We'll see you next week and we'll see how all of these games pan out.
Thanks, Eloise. Have a good weekend.
Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.